Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So tonight we're going to talk about dancing. Dancing left and dancing right. Talk about it because everybody's doing it. Not too long ago, two friends of mine were talking to a Cuban refugee, a businessman who'd escaped Castro. And in the midst of his story, one of my friends turned to the other and said, "We don't know how lucky we are." And the Cuban stopped, said, "How lucky you are. I had a place to escape to." And in that sentence, he told us the entire story. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. I know. Idealistic. Silly, even. Heartfelt. Not something you find in today's discourse very often when you're talking about politics. Open borders nonsense. Lefty garbage. Liberal snowflake tears. That's Ronald Reagan. That's Ronald Reagan reminding everybody that this is the place where people are supposed to escape to. Liberal garbage. I understand. More importantly, that is Ronald Reagan promoting Barry Goldwater of the infamous Southern Strategy. This is rhetoric that would have appealed to segregationists and racists of the 1960s. Maybe not appealed to them, but they would have been okay with it. That's who they're campaigning for. This sentiment is to the left of many in the Democratic Party today, and if you are a Democrat, that should give you pause, because it shows clearly exactly what happens when every time the Republicans move further to the right, the Democrats just dance over for compromise in the center, chasing votes, rather than standing on principle, rather than making an argument and bringing people to them. They show no backbone, and they move to the center, which becomes further and further right. You do that long enough, and you have Ronald Reagan promoting Barry Goldwater to your left. If you're a Republican, I got another story for you. In the 1500s, in a town called Strasbourg, everybody just started dancing. Nobody knows why. There's theories. Food poisoning that led to hallucinations, all kinds of stuff. It wasn't. It was mass hysteria. Put a video down below about it. Pretty interesting. The point is, that's what the Republican Party has you doing. Dancing. Further and further right. Kicking you along with that authoritarian boot. You're selling out everything this country stood for to prove your loyalty to a man who has no loyalty to you. For what? A red hat? If you hear that speech, you hear that passage, and you think, what a liberal snowflake lefty, and then you discover it's Ronald Reagan, and you don't pause, and you don't realize how far you have gone from what this country is supposed to stand for, it's something that requires a little bit of reflection. If everybody in this country stands on principle, we will be closer together than we can possibly imagine. Those in power like to keep us divided. This is a sentiment that most Democrats today would agree with. We're the place for people to escape to. We're not the place for walls. We're not the place for SWAT teams. We're the place for people to escape to. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.